Hello and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. This episode, a little update on some things since I last spoke with you guys, which I just realized today has been nearly a month. A couple things going on. Number one, I know I had mentioned doing a Conquest and Consequence playthrough, and I've put that on hold because I've tried the game a couple of times, and I have to admit, I'm having a little trouble with the Chinese Civil War, which is tricky to simulate, put into a game and such. There's been lots of questions about that topic with Cataclysm, if you're familiar with that game. And I just can't quite get the hang of it. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know. It's just, something's off for me, and I'm not sure what yet. So, until I feel confident about a game that I really could do a playthrough and do justice to, I don't do it. So, I put that on hold for the time being. I may come back to it. We'll see. Other things that have been going on in the last month, one of them is that, as you all know, I'm a huge fan of Tarawa 1943. I've played the game 25 times now, by the way, and still enjoy it. But as some of you know from the boards on Board Game Geek, the Worthington is working on an Iwo Jima version of it. And I decided, again, I mentioned this before because I'm not the most patient person in the world, I decided to go ahead and I started doing research, looked at about, I don't know, between 5 and 10 books, atlases, things like that, to do a Saipan version of it. And I've been working on that very hard for the last month, putting most of my gaming effort into that. I've got it down to the point where I'm pretty pleased with it. So I reached out to Worthington and told them, you know, what I was doing, basically a homemade, fan-made, if you will, game on Saipan, and they want to see what I've got. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to doing that, to sending that stuff over to them to take a look at whenever I get everything kind of polished off. Still a couple things I need to make adjustments on, like the bonsai attacks, which of course were more frequent and much more futile than at Tarawa. Size has been one thing that's been tricky to scale, so I've been working on that too, because Saipan is nearly 6 times as long and twice as wide as what Tarawa was. Plus, of course, the Marines had more LVTs, all that kind of stuff. So I've been trying to incorporate all of that together into things. So it's getting there. It's pretty close to having things run smoothly. The other thing that has kind of occurred here recently was, as most of you know, I have a couple of boys, and my youngest one, who's almost 3.5, he is a penchant for aptitude, really, for music. He loves music. He's playing his keyboard the other day, and I was down here, and he heard me down here rolling the dice, and he decided to come down and take a look around and stuff. And he looked around, and I said, "You want to roll Daddy's dice and such?" And lo and behold, trying to get him into the ranks here, so to speak. So of course there he is, rolling the dice on the new dice towers I got with the game table that my wife got me. So he had a good time with it. He knew his colors very well, and he knew all the numbers too. So, so I'm trying to pull him along, because my oldest one, I think, is he's going to be a little engineer. His tastes are very different and interests are very different from mine, and that's cool. So we'll see what. Oh, look at that! It's already timing out on me. We'll see what my little Nikolai may or may not do. Maybe he'll be a gamer, but it was a lot of fun because he was very inquisitive, looking around. He hasn't been down Daddy's man cave before, so that was kind of fun. So been working on trying to replenish our ranks. And the other thing, the bulk or the focus of this episode here, is I'm doing an unboxing video for y'all of a game that I need some of you to sit down, because what I'm about to say is going to be shocking. I don't want anyone to get hurt. But what I'm going to do is an unboxing of this game, 1944 Battle of the Bulge from Worthington. And it is only my, and I almost feel like I should whisper this, it's only my second Bulge game in my collection. Okay, I hope nobody fell. I don't hear any loud rumbles anywhere and such. But I've heard a lot of good things about this game, so I decided to go ahead and get it. I just picked it up the other day. It came through. So I thought I'd unbox it, share it with you, because it popped up also on a thread recently on Board Game Geek asking about the best low complexity Bulge game, and quite a few people mentioned it. So, and that's right up my alley too. The Bulge, I have to admit, when I was a kid, it was one of my gateway topics. Because again, the American Heritage Junior Library set had a book on the Bulge. You know, I was really interested in it when I was younger and stuff, but not so much anymore. It's just kind of a topic that's faded. But every once in a while, I feel like making a stand there with the 101st at Bastogne. So, decided to pick this up. So let me open it up and let's take a look at it and see what's inside. So, again, this is a game that's supposed to be, my understanding is, very low complexity on, whoa, there we go, the Bulge topic, which is good for me. Because again, some topics I like a lot of meat on. You know, the topics that really interest me the most. Some topics I don't need much meat. No, thank you. Yeah, I'll just, go kind of light on here. And this is one of those topics. So let's take a look, see what's inside. Again, this is Worthington Games by Dan Fournay, I think. And you can see the back there. Got the mat board. Got some other things too. So we'll take a look and see what's inside. My understanding is that this game has done so well, they're going to be doing a Kickstarter of Normandy using the same system. So again, that's a topic I don't usually mess with very often, but I might take a look at it if I enjoy this. So first thing out of the box, you got much like Tarawa, you got a victory scoring sheet that you can go ahead and record everything on there. You can see right off the bat, if you're the Germans, you need 14. 12 or less is the Allies, and 13 is a draw. Then we've got some cards here with some interesting things. Rundstedt's plan, German variable objective, Hitler's autumn mist, so I guess this is like optional setup things. Historical operation, spoiling attack. All that. Then on the back, there you can see the Bulge is on the back of all those. Okay, very cool. Let's see. Rulebook wise, I seem to have gotten two. Does that look identical to you? Looks identical to me. I think I got two. Huh. No, it happens every once in a while. I guess. Let's see. Nice color there, which is good. So we got the units. The counter's a little different. I see. I'm looking at these acronyms: dice rolled in combat, unit steps or strength point, movement point. So that's a little different. Usually we think of those as being the attack, defense, and movement bit. Some more types here: unit types, markers, sequence of play. Nice color. Again, got some nice examples mixed in there. You can see. This reminds me a little bit of the Tarawa one, although Tarawa I think is actually an even nicer rule book. But, things are laid out pretty nice. You got the examples mixed in where needed, which I always think is very important to do. Interesting. It must have custom dice. I guess we'll see about that here in just a few moments. So again, as with Worthington Games, usually there's not a whole lot of complexity. And again, simple does not mean simplistic. I've always been a big fan of that. Sometimes less is more. So, especially, again, for me, which I wouldn't call it a passing interest, but I have a low interest in the Battle of the Bulge. So, this could be right up my alley. We got some optional rules, variable weather. Every time I think about Battle of the Bulge and weather, I think of that scene in Patton. I want a weather prayer. You want a prayer to kill our fellow man? That's going to take a pretty thick rug. I don't care if it takes a flying carpet. And then we got some more variable objectives. Supply graphic example. Okay, cool. Alright. Movement and attack graphic example. Okay, very cool. That's very nice. And again, it's a very thin rule book. It's only 12 pages. And this just came out last year. I see it has 2020 on it. So, alright, let's see what else we got here. Okay, we've got some setup cards here. We've got the Gemins right there. Nice, big, easy to read. Again, you know, our ranks are getting what should I say? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something for eyesight wise, but anyway. So color coded too. I like that. Okay, nice reinforcement list there. Oh, that's nice. Right on the back, you got the setup too. Very cool. I like that. All right, that's neat. Then we got the Allies. Order of battle. Same thing, color coded. 1st Army, 7th Corps. All the reinforcements. Very cool. Like it. Then we got the counters themselves. And those counters, wow, those are nice and big. I'm curious to see how big the map is here in a minute. But look at the size of those counters. They're nice, big, easy to read. Again, the color jumps right out so you can see on the table who's where, who's doing what. Even the moved and attacked markers are nice and bright and clear. So you can easily pick that out on the board too when you're playing. Huh, very cool. Then we got one more counter sheet, it looks like. We have the Germans, we have the Americans, naturally. And then we have here some information markers, although up here at the top you can see, and I do like this too. If you look here carefully, you can see the counters have ALT on them, so they're clearly marked as alternate counters. Very nice. This is looking really cool. I'm really kind of curious now to see how this is going to play out. I know, which I'll get to once I feel I have Saipan under control. And the map. Let's see. And the map. Whew, the map, boys and girls, is mounted. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we do the map, though, hold your horses. Let's take a look at the dice here. I'm curious to see how this works out. Bear with me here. I know I sound like that guy in the movie theater where everybody's trying to watch. It's like, shh. But definitely look like custom dice. Interesting. Although there's one standard 6-sided one there, the white one. But these other ones, you can see, the red ones, they have armor symbol and infantry symbol, and they got a bunch of blank sides on them too. But they seem to have one side that's infantry and one side that's armor. So that's interesting. Custom dice are always interesting. So we'll see. Alright. And then last but not least, we have the nice mounted, I use the M word. Yeah, like that episode of Chef. I'm going to use the U word now. Unpasteurized. Okay. There we go. Let's see, I've got it upside down. Hold on. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on your perspective, but from reading the names of places and stuff, we'll flip it around. There we go. That's pretty nice. Little area there. You got the terrain. There's Bastunge sitting there at the critical part there. Liege, among other places and such. So you got your tracks there. You've got the terrain effects up here. You got all this information here about the counters again. Dice rolled in combat, etc. As you can see, the board is not massive. So, I mean, this is very much a concentrated examination, that's the word I want. Examination of the Battle of the Bulge. So, alright, that's cool. Again, for someone like me who's looking at this as an occasional thing, once a year, maybe once, less often than that, this does look pretty good. So, you know, lighter forest, thicker forest, rivers, streams, Smaller rivers maybe. I don't know. I have to look at the key and stuff. But that looks cool. It definitely looks good. All right. So, there you go. That's what's inside the box for Worthington's 1944 Battle of the Bulge. Oh, there's, almost forgot, sorry. Because I know some of you, I don't usually care about this, I'll be honest, but I know some of you do. I usually get rid of these because I'm just not, I usually recycle them. But I'm not a big fan of counter trays. I find them fiddly, for the most part, to be honest. I think the first counter tray I've kept for a long time, actually, interestingly enough, was the one from Tarawa, because it actually isn't super fiddly to put everything in there and kind of get it organized. So, alright, so there you go. That's what's inside the box, if you should choose to purchase 1944 Battle of the Bulge. Alright, next episode. Let's see. I finally got my shipping notice about Race to Moscow, which has been delayed, what, 2 years or something? At least a year and a half, anyhow, I think. Yeah, I want to say it was around a year and a half. But anyway, maybe it's longer than that, maybe it's shorter. I don't know. I just don't worry that much about it. But anyway, I know some people have received it. Mine's supposed to be coming, and I also ordered the new copy of Fire in the Sky that Phalanx Games made. So I'll have those two coming. So once I do get my hands on Race to Moscow, I will definitely share it with you guys. I know some of you have commented about Absolute War. To be honest, again, this is just me. This is just my personality, my quirks, whatever and stuff. But once I grab a topic by the horns, so to speak, I usually don't let go until I'm completely spent and exhausted on it. And I'm still doing World War II Pacific Theater for the most part, because I'm not exhausted on it yet, even though it's been, about a month and a half, I guess, this latest run. So, which usually comes around once a year, my run into the Pacific Theater, as it were. Speaking of which, Orange Swan is supposed to be out later this month, I believe. I think it's coming out a little bit sooner than was anticipated, which was supposed to be next month, March of 2022. So that, when I see the final product and such, I will definitely share it with you when I get my hands on that too. Alright, so that's kind of what's coming down the pike here. Maybe a playthrough of this Bulge game, depending on when I get it to the table. And also the whole Saipan thing. I might share that with you guys at some point too, depending on what kind of response I get once I share what I have done. Which I've tried to keep the basic structure of Tarawa 1943, but of course trying to make modifications to different aspects of the game without losing the core system to reflect, the difference of almost, 8 months later, 9 months later, something like that. Yeah, and of course what was learned from the Marshall Islands campaign as well too. Alright, so that's where we're at, and again, if I manage to get Conquest and Consequence on an even keel, I will definitely share that with you, but again, I'm just having a hard time. I don't know, it's just not completely clicking for me. I'm not sure why. It's very strange, but I love the topic, and I love Triumph and Tragedy, so this is a little weird. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit, to be completely frank and honest about it all. Alright, so there you go. That's what's inside the box for the Bulge, and what's been going on here at Bare Bones Wargaming headquarters over the last, not quite month, since I last shared a video with you guys. Alright, so again, Race to Moscow on the horizon as well too. And that actually might be the thing that tips me over. And of course, being exhausted after working on this Saipan design that I've been doing, like I said, for a month. I've just been pounding away at that. That's why I really haven't been doing anything with other games. I've been pretty much focusing on that. So, we'll see how it turns out. I'll keep y'all posted. Alright, as always, this is Tim Korchner from Bare Bones Wargaming, saying thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, I don't know from where. We'll see where the wind blows, where the waves take us, that kind of thing. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.